Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Time Podcast. Today I have Arnaud Michelin with me, who has graduated just recently. Congratulations again, Arnaud.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely, and thank you for joining me on a public holiday. It just shows your passion for your job and for the industry and for your, obviously, development as well. Arnaud, you have just graduated.
Yes.
Let's start actually before the program and before you applied. Did you have some form of mentorship in your life before?
Not really. I think that not necessarily in a very formal way. I think that sometimes, for people who are really conscious about professional and personal development, I think that we all look for like mentors. So there's been probably people in my career that I've taken as figures that I wanted to, people that I admired, people that I thought could be a good mentor figure, but nothing really formal like I did with Time. No.
Mm-hmm. And then when you decided to join Time or to apply for the program, what were the reasons? What were your expectations, or what were your hopes what you get out of the program?
I think that the pandemic was maybe a little bit more the catalyst for it. I'm sure that I'm not an isolated case, and there's probably a lot of people that have been in my situation that, you're in the middle of the pandemic and you're just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? Why do I want to stay in an industry? Do I really want to stay in an industry? So there was a lot of questioning from my side. I think that for other people, they probably went through the same sort of like questioning, but because they didn't have their jobs anymore, it was easy to transition to another industry. But I was lucky enough to continue working for Finnair. So, but the questioning was still there. And I had a conversation with Alice Ager, that used to work with me when we were at Oceania Cruises and Regent. And she explained to me what were the benefits of it. And although, she did it at a different time than me, I thought that this was the time for me to, have a little checkup on where I was at, whether that industry was for me, and also, how I would see myself in the future, right? So position myself in a more longer term, even though I've been in the industry for about 15 years now. So, yeah.
So you joined at the young age of 10. That's interesting. All right. And how?
Thank you. It's my French genes.
I think so, yes. And how was it when you heard about who's going to be your mentor, and who was your mentor actually?
So my mentor was Justin Montgomery. I didn't know him before. And obviously I didn't really know too much what to expect, but I don't know how to describe it. I think he was very open to my questions and the reasons why I had joined the program, and so everything fell into place very, very quickly. I think that what I really appreciated from him was his listening abilities or listening skills. So I managed to get not necessarily answers to my questions, because I don't think it's not the purpose of the mentoring program. But I feel like with him I managed to get the tools to be able to answer my own questions, if that makes sense, right? And I think what I really liked about that mentoring period with him was that it wouldn't give me the answers to my own questions, but you sort of guide me to
I remember first time I met my mentor back in the days, 1750. When
1750, before the French Revolution.
Absolutely. I'm glad you picked up on this. It was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit. It was a bit nervous. I didn't know really how do I actually approach the session. What do I talk about actually? There's a person you usually don't know.
Yes.
I didn't know my mentor before. How was that for you, the first meeting? How did it go? What did you talk about? Was there nervousness?
Well, I mean, there's always a little bit of apprehension, like, I mean, I looked at his LinkedIn profile and I was like, oh my God, this guy is super senior. He's been working for Amadeus, so he knows a lot of French people, so he's going to pick up on some of the stuff that I have, and but yes, you have that apprehension because you feel like, oh my God, I'm going to sound like a goose in front of someone who's like super senior that has a huge experience in the industry, and I'm going to sound like an idiot. But on the other end, I think it's one of my strengths as well, like just came and, I just showed up and just try to be genuine and talk about it simply. And I think that for everyone that wants to be part of this program, you just need to show up as yourself. And then that's where you get the most benefit out of it, right? Like, don't try to pretend to be someone else. And so that's the mindset that I had when I met him for the first time. So although there was a bit of apprehension, I think it went well overall. And he's a really nice guy. He was very approachable. He's a bit of a straight shooter, so I really appreciate that because obviously, there's no fluff. There's no so yeah, and that was great in that respect. I think that it worked out really well because this is the type of personality that I like. Yeah.
So you spoke about the purpose of the program before, just mentioned benefits. Obviously, everything is confidential between you and your mentor, but is there maybe something you can join, maybe an aha moment or any direct outcomes out of the mentor sessions that you're able to share?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that everyone would come with different sort of, expectations of the program, and that's just because we're all different, right? And we're at different stage in our careers, and we do different things. But for me, that's what I said during my speech. At my graduation, I think that I sort of found the answers to some of my questions. Like, am I meant to be in the travel industry? I think that yes, that answer was yes. So it was good. I did this to find out the answer to that simple question. But it meant so much more behind, like in terms of, I think it sparked a little bit more passion about it again because after 2 years and a bit of pandemic where it's been tough on everyone. The drive sort of goes a little bit. You're just wondering, how am I going to be able to do it? So, I think that yes, I got this and the answer to that question. That sounds really silly, but it was so crucial for me to further myself in my career. So, yeah, it was the.
I don't think it sounds silly at all because reconnecting to the industry that you're now passionate again about is such a crucial. Base to have to work off, right? So it sounds like that's your strong foundation, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, this is the key. I think it's and I see my passion, my relationship with travel in my mind. I see it as as a relationship. It's like how do you really love your husband or your wife again? Like, right? At some stage in relationships, you just maybe sometimes wonder that exact question. And I think that, I had reached that stage, like, oh my God, am I still in love with it or not? And I found the answer to that question. And there was so much more behind, we would need to speak together for like a week for me to explain everything.
We have time. I'm glad to hear that the marriage goes on.
Yes.
Did you meet in person or did you predominantly use online or how did you actually manage the...
We did a bit of both and we did in very different ways. Sometimes we met face to face in a very formal setting when there was a whiteboard and then we're just writing on all the stuff and that was great. Sometimes we met in a coffee shop and we talked about some things and, it was a little bit of in a more informal setting. Sometimes we met on Teams. So we did a little bit of all of that. And I thought it was great. We met every week. So for me, it was, something very regular. And then every week I was doing a little bit of homework, to prepare for the next meeting. And I really enjoyed that. So, it was great. I'm a very disciplined person, by nature. So for me, like getting into a routine that has a purpose is something that I'm quite capable of doing. So it really suited me very well.
That's awesome to hear. And I believe your induction was, virtual. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Perfect. So my memory works. That's good.
That was the last one that was virtual, I think.
When was your first contact, then in-person contact with the Time community?
Pretty much on that day, I think, on the day of the induction.
Right. And I want to talk a little about the networking part within Time. During your graduation and during your mentoring, being finalized with the graduation, how did your network evolve? Did you have opportunities to make important contacts there, or do you suddenly have a huge LinkedIn follower list, or what?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a big star on LinkedIn, I've got to say. No, I'm joking. I think it's actually LinkedIn. I think is a great way to network. There's a lot of people that now I meet in person that have connected with me on LinkedIn in the past, but it's a lot easier for me to meet people face to face because at least I remember their faces. Because sometimes the avatars on LinkedIn are not really relevant. I mean, I can talk for myself. I have hair on my LinkedIn profile picture, and as you can see, I don't have many hair anymore.
The headphones perfectly covered.
So it's my COVID haircut. As you can see, it's a beautiful one. No, my network has increased quite a lot. After the induction, I've been able to attend some of the meetings that were actually face to face. So I went to graduation, then we had an event with Cato. There was a Cato trivia night, so there was other people from Time that came there. So I had the chance to network with a lot of people, and it's led to some good business connections, I should say. And so it's been great. But it's just a start, right? Because so I still need to continue to come to these networking events because I find that it's a good quality of people coming, whether it's from the more senior people in our industry that are mentors themselves, but there's also people that are like me that are mentees that is also really good to network with. Yes.
Yeah, I also always enjoy the crowd there because it's such a lovely mixture, and sometimes you would not think from the beginning when you see the guest list, it might be a good fit, but then it's just always that special atmosphere.
Yes.
It's so enjoyable. And the good thing is Time obviously continues after your graduation, a lifetime member.
Yes, wow.
And lots of networking is going to happen. But even if you travel throughout Australia, and I think you do travel every now and then as well.
I do, yeah.
There's the local communities from Time that you can visit as well. I've been myself to Melbourne a couple of times to events. It's always so lovely. Just, it's people there and you're welcomed as you're part of the Melbourne community, and just love it. It's really good, really good. And now we don't talk about me, we talk about you. So part of the whole experience is obviously also the workshops, and I think we don't really talk enough about them. A lot of people are not even aware that's part of the mentor program as well, that mentee program as well, that you have regular workshops. Were you able to attend a few?
Yes, I did. I did a few. The last one we did actually was awesome. It was about self-confidence. It was run by Kelly. I'm not going to pronounce her last name because I'm going to butcher it. So if you want to subtitle it, yes. That's good. Thank you. And it was about self-confidence. And that was awesome and that was awesome for the fact that this week I've been in a situation where I can't really remember what it was, but I remember some of the things she said during that workshop, and I was like, "Bloody hell! Like, I need to feel more confident. Like, I can do this, right?" And the way she did on top of that, like she has great energy. She's a really good dancer. She had a bit of a dance routine on it, and also she's a good singer. Although she doesn't really admit it, I'm telling you, like she's a good singer. And yeah, that workshop like really had a good effect on me. Like there was a few things that I remember from that. So I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, it was really good.
That's awesome to hear, and especially love to hear that, you know, it transfers straight back into a situation you used in your normal life then. And often I get feedback from mentees that a lot happens actually between the meetings with the mentor, or suddenly later in a later stage in their life, they realize, oh wow, now that's the connection point. That's what I needed for this particular situation. Did you have any other moments where you felt things suddenly kick in that you discussed before or experienced at the workshop or even at the networking?
Nothing that really comes to my mind right now, but I really like, like listening to the speeches. I think that there was someone that graduated on the same day as me. Her name is Louise, I think. And she talked about her journey, and she runs this little boutique travel agency somewhere in like regional New South Wales, right? But everything she said, I was like, oh my God, this girl, she's got it, right? And the thing is that, look, there's been a lot of things happening in the travel industry in the last 2 years, even like since the beginning of this year. We know it's an industry that evolves constantly, but I think that the changes that we've seen in the landscape in the last 10 months are huge. And when I saw the way she experienced her, mentoring time, and how she set up a business, I was like, wow, this girl, she understood everything. Like, she's got it, right? And I have other conversations with travel agents, and I'm like, this guy should be listening to her, because like she understands what's the landscape now, and how, if you want to be successful in this industry, how you need to set yourself up. And yeah, so that when I talk to some agents, it reminds me of what she was saying.
You don't know that because it's not published, but actually Louise was on the podcast as well, and will be published just a week before you.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, for those who are listening to my podcast, please go back 1 week and listen to Louise's podcast.
Thank you. I'm not paying him for that, just for the record. You are a salesperson through and through.
Well, not really, but yes.
That's great. So what's your future with time? How do you plan to continue with the community?
I'm going to continue to come to the networking events. I think this is something I really want to do. This is something that, my mentor and I would discuss during the mentoring program. So, because I see a lot of value into that. And then, I don't know, I might get involved a little bit further in it. But I think, I'm just at the start. As you know, I work in a team of one.
It's a lot.
So, and I look after 3 countries, and so my time is a little bit spread thinly. But I need to understand also, like, what is the value for me as a person in my professional career. And I think that these networking events are definitely very beneficial. So I'm sure I'll do that for sure. And then, as things evolve, if I have the opportunity to get involved a little bit more into the time program, I'll definitely do it.
Great to hear. And as I mentioned before, you're a lifetime member now. I understand it was a threat, but it was more a promise. And obviously the networking continues. You're always welcome to join the workshops if there's a particular one where you think, oh, that's actually, something that interests you. And also the mentoring continues after graduation. So there's a yearly mentoring session that, you can choose from a list and think, oh, I don't know, Penny might be a good person to speak about this, or Justin, I want to talk to him about that, or whatever it is. Which is actually great to know, and great to have that continuous insights and support from everyone. I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not something that you start and it stops. I think that like past the 6 months, it doesn't stop. I don't really see it like this, but I think that also like the audience of the people that want to be mentees in the time program, I believe is the type of people that, like I was saying earlier, that are conscious that professional development and personal development is important. That if you want to evolve, and if you want to grow, you need to do the work, right? And so I think that we are all like people who understand the value of like working on it, and then it's an ongoing process. It never stops, right?
It never stops. That's actually true. And I think, touching back on what you said, pretty much every career level, even if you're very senior already, there's definitely something that you probably appreciate having insights on, or just get a second opinion, second perspective, and someone who challenges your thoughts.
Exactly, yeah.
I really love when you said, Justin wasn't giving me the answers, but kind of made me answer my own questions. So important, isn't it?
So important, because the thing is that you need to own your answers as well. If you ask a question and someone gives you the answer, that's their answer, and you need to find the answer yourself. And so having someone guiding you on where you're going to find the answer to that question, that's a lot more valuable. Because that when you're going to be in that situation again, when you're going to question your thought process, when you're going to question your place in a workplace, in your career or something like that, that person will probably be there to answer that question for you. So at least if you know the tools and if you know the way to find the answer yourself, then that will speed up the process, and then I find that a lot more rewarding.
Sounds like you don't regret having done the program. Would you potentially consider, I don't know, in 2, 3, 4 years' time doing it again?
Yes. Yeah, because like I said, it's an ongoing process. So, like in 3 years' time, I'll probably be at a different place in my professional career, right? So I'll probably find myself, like needing to maybe do something similar again. Yeah, definitely.
We actually have a few people who've done it twice.
Really?
Even 3 times over the years, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It's always interesting to hear. And it's so interesting. I obviously speak to a lot of people on the podcast about their experience, and everyone is different, but same. It's a bit hard to explain, but I always love to hear. I love to hear everyone's journey throughout the program. So thanks for sharing that with me.
Pleasure.
And I love that you're always energetic. You're always passionate. When I see you, you're always smiling. That's good. Despite the COVID haircut.
Despite my COVID haircut. I mean, it's a look, like it's,
100% it's a look. And it suits you well. It suits you well.
Thank you.
Your personality, going back.
Okay.
Hopefully see you soon in person again at one of the events. Otherwise, I might bump into you accidentally when you walk around my hotels.
I live next door to your hotel. That's the reason why I bump into you all the time. I literally live next door.
Okay, here we go. I'm looking out for you.
I'm not trying to stalk you. I'm just saying.
That's what they all say. Just kidding.
That's what they all say.
I mean, let's have a coffee.
Yes, definitely. Oh, you'll see me because I'm here to stay now.
Great to hear. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, especially
Thank you.
the public holiday. There's probably a million other things you would be able to do. So I really appreciate that you took that.
Not really. It's bucketing down outside. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Timo. Bye.